Welcome to LOTC Presents Black Glove Mysteries, where every other Friday we will take you on a journey through Italian cinema, specifically Giallo, but we reserve the right to take other avenues such as polizieschi, spaghetti westerns, Euro crime films. Either way, you will hear and now see us talk Italian cinema. This is episode 469, Double 82. I'm your host, Greg Mortis, along with Ian La Punelli Irza. What's up, Ian?
It's very useful having a wife who puts out.
What a line that is in the movie. Super excited, Ian. Good to have you on tonight. Listeners, we are in for a treat as we are starting our Volume 5 of the Forgotten Gialli series. Volume 5, bam, of Forgotten Gialli. We're going to be looking at two films from this set right here from the fine folks over at Vinegar Syndrome. And the two we're going to be looking at are Tropic of Cancer, and we're going to be looking at White Dress For Mariale. So that is the two films we're going to be reviewing tonight. And Ian so wonderfully quoted a quote from
Tropic of Cancer.
Tropic of Cancer, which was a really cool scene because of where it was at in the movie. But if you're new to the channel, if you're new to the YouTube channel, welcome. I hope you will hit that subscribe button and follow along with us. Every other Friday, you will see Ian and I sitting here talking Italian cinema, whether it is, as mentioned, whether it's Giallo, which we typically like to do, or it could be spaghetti western. Ian, it's no telling what it'll be, but we'll get into something. But if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, stick with us. But tonight, like I said, it's all about that Forgotten Gialli, and some of these, maybe they should have been forgotten, Ian. We'll get into that and see.
Well, one of these in particular might be my favorite of the ones we've covered in all of the sets so far. So,
ooh,
yeah, I have to go back and see, because to be honest, I can't remember which ones were in every set anymore. But one of them is definitely one that I hold in pretty high acclaim. After watching it, I was really surprised by it, pleasantly surprised.
I got to say, man, that season 4 or the volume 4, though, man, that Arabella, the Black Angel was
that one. Yeah, that's that one is something. We'll put it that way.
But man, we're super excited. This is going to be fun. We're going to look at these two titles. We'll break it down, review them. We also have a call from your father, Luke. And not that you're Luke, your father, Luke, Ian. So can't wait to get to his call, see what he's got for us at the end of this episode, too. And then we'll get into other shenanigans. So, man, we're super excited, like I said. It was a fun trip going down both of these films. One is definitely a little more polished and a little better for the viewing eyes than the other, and we'll get into that. But either way, it's always fun to watch some Italian cinema, and we'll get into these for sure. So we do hope that you would follow us over at Letterboxd as well. If you go over to Greg Mortis and type in Letterboxd, just type in Greg Mortis, you should be able to find me. And you'll find a list in my, as far as list or whatever for me. And we are keeping up with every movie that we review here on Black Glove Mysteries. So it'll make it easy for you. You can say, hey, Greg, Ian, what have y'all reviewed this? Head over to Letterboxd. You'll see what we reviewed. Unfortunately, it's not the exact rating. It's what I've rated it. I wish I could figure a way to do it for both of us, Ian, but then it would kind of, maybe I'll start a letterbox for just LOTC or something one day.
Yeah, what's interesting is I think Jay of the Dead used to do that for like a horror movie podcast. Well, I don't know if it was Jay. It could have been Josh or one. I assume it was Jay. Right. But he would take all their ratings and like kind of combine them and have that be the rating for the show as best he could on Letterboxd. I assume it was Jay who probably did that.
I had to ask him on that. I did notice, and I do follow them still over there. I don't think they do anything current. I may be off on that. But regardless, I would definitely look at doing that in the near future. Maybe we'll see if we can do that. If not, just you can hit us over on mine and see what we've reviewed. But here we go, man. Are both of these Giallos? Are both of these Italian? Are both of these whatever? I can tell you one of them wasn't in Italy. We know.
No, there were scenes filmed in Italy, though, that I got from the interview with the director, but mainly filmed in Haiti. That other one, or one, well, one of them.
One of them. And both of these were first-time viewings for me. So both of these new watches. Ian, you had seen Tropic of Cancer.
Yep.
But this is your first viewing of a White
And I'll
Dress.
put it out there right now. Like the
Mhm.
first time I watched Tropic of Cancer, it was one of the few Giallo movies that I gave like a negative rating to. I gave it a probably a 4 out of 10 the first time I watched it. I went
Yeah.
back to my old letterbox ratings. So I will say, liked it a little bit more this time, but we'll see where the final verdict comes
Okay.
later.
That's fair enough. And I think with that said, we'll just go ahead and get right into it. And I think we will start with Tropic of Cancer. Both of these movies are from the year 1972. So I figured T's before W. So let's just do Tropic of Cancer.
Okay.
And I will say this, the artwork inside, as far as the disc itself is the same. They do have this cool little sleeve. Well, you can't even see it now. You see Slappy. See Slappy behind me in the reflection. But yeah, this thing only has a couple. Let's see. This had a let's see. Yeah, this had the Sex, Voodoo, and Dictatorship, a 33-minute interview with writer director Giappando Lomi, and then you had the audio essay by film historian and critic Rachel Nisbet, which is 18 minutes, and you got outtakes. So that is all your special features. But without further ado, let's head over to you, Ian. What you got for the plot synopsis?
Okay, as always, this is taken from Troy Howard's So Deadly, So Perverse, Volume 1 in this case. So we have Haiti. Dr. Williams has developed a new hallucinogen which piques the interest of various unsavory types who are anxious to profit from his discovery. Dr. Williams refuses all offers, and this leads to more serious consequences as a string of murders begins to take place. Meanwhile, Williams's friend Fred shows up with his wife Grace to enjoy some time in the sun and to hopefully repair their shaky marriage. They too will be fiercely impacted by this series of killings.
Did you say murder?
Yeah.
So here we go. We're in the region of Haiti, and interesting take on that because so much of the films that we review are in Rome or Italy or maybe over in Germany or different places
Well,
like
they're
that.
definitely in Europe for the
Mhm.
most part. Very rarely are they outside of that area. I mean, I can think of the Pajama Girl case was Australia, but I can't think of too many others. I mean, it was unique when Iguana with the Tongue of Fire was in Ireland, but there aren't that many that are kind of outside of that, Italian, Spanish region. I mean, you'll occasionally maybe get one. Well, you'll get some in England as well, but they're not when it's outside of that realm, it's usually fairly unique.
Yeah, and we get it here for sure. You
Yep.
definitely open a sequence. You see them on a big boat, coming across a ship, and they're coming into Haiti. There is some interesting things that takes place in this movie. One of them being a voodoo ritual scene that was actually a real voodoo ritual
Yep.
scene that they just walked in the
And they
middle. So
killed a bull
you're
too.
seeing a full legit like
Yep.
ritual taking place, which was weird, eerie, interesting, but very eerie to think about that this was a real ritual. But
I mean,
there is a couple. I want to put this disclaimer out too. There are a couple of animal mutilations in this, so if those things are a trigger point for you, I do want you to go in knowing that there are a couple scenes of that in this movie. So be warned of that. But go ahead, Ian. What was you going to say?
I was going to say, do you think this movie is culturally insensitive at all? Because I almost had a hard time deciding that. I was like, okay, is this racist or is it just kind of the way things are in Haiti, what they're showing? Like, I couldn't really
Yeah,
tell if that was what they were going for here in
yeah. I'm
regards to
not
that.
sure. I
But
don't think it was. I think they handled it,
no,
the way that would have been proper. You definitely learn some cultural things watching this movie for sure. I mean, they definitely give you some concepts of what this region is, or at least that certain area of region was about at that time, as far as in this movie, or at least what they wanted you to know. But the characters themselves, I mean, you got instantly we got Anita Strindberg in here, and Ian, I know she is one of your top 10 actresses.
yeah, I really like her.
Yeah.
Yeah, always have. I think she brings a good sense of mystery to her parts where she can play vulnerable, but she can also play shady. And there's usually something underneath the surface with her, whether
Yeah.
it's trauma or something else going on. Like she's good at being very versatile, and also she has a bit more of an edge to her, I think, because I'm not going to say she's old, but she's somewhat older in these films than your typical star. Like she's like 35 or whatever in
Right.
these films, most of them. So
Mhm. Yeah, well, her and her husband, Fred, and her name is Grace in this movie, and Fred, played by Gabriel Tinty, they go to Haiti on a vacation trip, but they're at complete odds. You can tell there's no sexual passion, there's no love. They're just married in the sense that they're married, and they go to this region, and he's also going to meet an old friend, Dr. Williams, played by Anthony Steffen, which I did like his character as well. And you probably know him through a lot of Western. He's in some
yeah,
spaghetti
he
Western.
was he was the most prolific actor in spaghetti westerns. He was in like 25 of them as a star. Now that is a bit of quantity over quality, because a lot of his spaghetti westerns are not as well known, and for good reason. There are some good ones, but for the most part, they're not that great. And I'm kind of hit or miss with him as an actor. Like I find some of his mugging for the camera to be kind of annoying. To be honest with you, like
Yeah,
you can tell he likes seeing his face on camera. Like he's one of those guys, and you can definitely tell. I mean, I don't think he's a bad actor per se, but he's not necessarily one of my favorites for
yeah,
these movies. I liked him enough in The Night Evelyn Came Out of the Grave. I thought he was fine in that, and he portrayed the rich aristocrat really well. Here, I don't know. I feel like I would have preferred someone like a George Hilton or something like that. Someone maybe with a bit more of a credible edge
yeah.
than him. But I don't know. He's not. He's passable.
Yeah, I agree with you on that avenue. And this one, he's playing a doctor by day, but he's also a scientist slash, let's just say, drug creator by night. So there's some shadiness to him for sure. But everybody in the region knows him. He is a go-to type guy. And here was the one issue that I found between Fred and Williams's characters, where they looked a lot alike. Like there's a scene when you first meet, Dr. Williams, that I almost thought it was Fred, and I was, oh wait, no, the blue eyes, never mind, because Fred has these striking blue eyes, and Dr. Williams didn't. But body frame wise, they look a lot alike. But once you start figuring out what's going on, the doctor has this whole he's making this drug that is a hallucinogenic or some type of drug, and there's a market for it, and there's people wanting it. Ian, and could Fred be actually there to try to get his hands on it too? You got to watch and see. But I thought the story was okay enough to kind of be warranted. I found interest in watching it as far as the whole voodoo side of things, because that's always been something that is kind of interesting, as far as when you get back to like I Walked with a Zombie or something like that, or you go back in the 30s. You look at movies like that. Voodoo has always kind of interested me, but I've never really dove deep into the lore of it. But
Well, they
seeing
kind
this,
of
you
do
got
it in Lucio Fulci's Zombie as
right,
well, and
yeah,
this would probably make a good feature. I can't remember if this movie takes place in Haiti or where it takes place, but Wes Craven's Serpent in the Rainbow is
sure,
another one that does that. I don't remember if that was Haiti or not.
yes,
It may have been,
yeah,
but
it was. So
oh, it
that would,
was
yeah, that'd
okay.
be a good triple feature actually.
Yeah,
Throwing them in for sure. But I did like those scenes, and there's that weird scene at the beginning when Fred and Grace show up, and you see this truck, Peacock, because there's a character in here, Mr. Peacock. He's, oh God, what a flamboyant guy he is.
he's a very portly, flamboyant guy.
His character, but his truck's there. It's like a delivery truck, and this blocks of ice come crushing down and almost hit them when they're getting out of their car. And we see Fred instantly. That's when we're introduced to Fred, and you can tell he flies off the handle. He's got an anger issue. He's got a lot of those issues, and we see his character, just cussing this guy like, you should be fired. You're worthless and all this stuff, and then where it goes from there. But what I wanted to mention about that was the guy that happened with is a Haitian born individual that Grace immediately catches eyes at. And there's that long stare
Yeah,
between two of them. You're like,
this well, this kind of starts something where there to me are some subplots in this film that don't particularly go too many places to me, and this is one of them. Like Grace clearly has this fascination. Now, I don't know if it's a thing where she's just fascinated by any man, to sort of break up this monotony or whatever in her marriage, this rut, whatever you want to call it, or if she has this sort of fetish for black men. I know that this some of this stuff may not sound the most comfortable what I'm talking about, but at the same time, it's just what the film made it seem like, because there is this dream sequence later that definitely implies something of that sort.
Yeah.
But it's unclear what really happens, if anything at all. And it's just, I think it's like this film has kind of missed opportunities in places, at least to me, that being one of them, was that subplot. And even the voodoo stuff to me is not, it doesn't really go too far with that either. And at the end, I'm not going to spoil the ending, but I didn't really know what the hell happened at the end. Like, I was like, who's been doing this killing? Who's responsible for what? What are the double crosses going on here? Like, I don't really know what is happening here by the end of it.
Same. I literally, like, right before we went on air, went back and skimmed through it again. I just watched it this morning. I skimmed through it again just to catch up and see, okay, what did I miss at the ending of this? Like, what did I miss with the reveal of this
Then
movie?
there ends up being a cop involved too with it, and it's like, what?
Yeah.
What is going on here? Whose side are we supposed to be on? I mean,
Right.
I guess we're supposed to be on Grace's side most of all, but even that doesn't make all, like, she's kind of just there. It's not like she's not really, again, you had a possibility of giving her this subplot and going through it, and you really don't do much with it. So
Yeah. Yeah, the subplots are there. They are minimal as far as what takes off, but I agree with you on that aspect. We got more male nudity, I will admit, than we have female nudity.
Yeah, and that was actually, you reminded me, because I think, I don't know if there was ever, I think there may have been certain films or certain types of films where they didn't want as much male nudity, because I do remember in The House on the Edge of the Park specifically, there's that scene between Lorraine DeSalle and Giovanni Lombardo Radice where they specifically shot it to hide his private areas. So it's like one of those things where certain films, they're kind of more okay with it, maybe cannibal films and such, and I guess this one, whereas others, they're not as comfortable with that for whatever reason.
Yeah, true. So there are, go in knowing that as well. I like the Peacock character, which he basically owns this whole resort thing or whatever, and he's also like got some other things going on that are a little shady. But I liked his character. I like the character of Philip, played by Umberto Rahu, who we love. Rahu.
Yes, I like him a lot.
Always
like him.
Yep. Yes, ever since I've seen him, like, yes, it's Umberto, and of course Anita, but. The characters in this movie are not bad. It's not the acting is bad in this movie. It's not, in my opinion.
No, it's not.
I felt like all the acting was serviceable for what was needed. The added sequences of the voodoo and the different things going on, that like that ritual that lasted for what I felt like was several minutes, where it's fascinating to watch. It gets a little overbearing at some time. Like I was like, okay, well, we've seen this, let's move on and go to the next scene or whatever. So I felt like they lingered on some of those scenes a little longer than they needed to. But that little hall sequence that you were mentioning with Anita and the other individual, with Grace and the other guy, where she's going on this trip, there's this drug hallucinogenic thing that's given to her via flower that makes her like go on this high that's incredible. I love that sequence. I thought they shot it beautiful, man. It was amazing.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me actually of a sequence in Lucio Fulci's Lizard and the Woman's Skin that she's also involved in. Yeah. So it kind of had that same feeling. I mean, she's involved in that one in a much different way, but it kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah, this is shot beautifully. And I mean, honestly, the movie is shot well. Like it's a lot of day shot. There's not much night shot in this one. A lot of outdoor shots, as far as there's not a lot indoors. So, it had to be a little trickery going on trying to be around all this going on. But I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed it for that as well. But the problem is that the story just kind of is
it's that, and because the story's convoluted, it makes to me, I felt the movie was pretty sluggishly paced. It felt like it was 2 hours long when it really wasn't.
No, it took so long for it to happen. Once it happened, like at last 25 minutes or so, I enjoyed that part of the movie. I'm like, okay, I wish this would have been at the beginning, I mean, we had what, 10 murders, I think, in this movie. Some of them better than others, but I mean, there's some murder in this one, and I like that it's a mystery. We don't know who the killer is, so you do have that aspect. But the voodoo curse, the strangulation, that one trapped in the machinery thing was
Yeah,
pretty cool.
that was one of the scenes shot in Italy, by the way. It
Yeah,
was that whole scene in the mill. Yeah.
that was actually pretty cool, man. I like
Yeah,
that.
that was a good one, and the burn effects on his face were pretty
Oh
good.
God, dude, there is a sequence where this steam is shot at this guy, and the effect of him burnt was, I mean, it's basically looking like a face melt and hand melt.
Yeah.
Man, it had to be just brutal. And then it doesn't finish there. Like, he even gets a little extra.
No.
So I was like, he had to have the worst of all of them in this movie.
Yeah, he did. I mean, because one guy just gets harpooned, and then
Yeah,
like I
yeah,
think there's one death that we don't even see.
there he
One
is.
of like, yes, yeah, Stefan, right, finds
Yep,
one guy at one point, just finds him, nothing else. So
right.
there's actually two, isn't there? Because there's the guy at the beginning he finds, and then there's the one he finds when they're at like the restaurant and that
Oh,
like.
yeah,
So there's like a couple there.
yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, the kills themselves were decent in this movie, and some of them were unique. We see a marriage. What was that marital voodoo thing?
Oh yeah,
Well,
the marital. Yeah,
I
that
don't
too.
like
Yep.
they're buck naked and they're being splashed with water, and it's some kind of Haitian ritual that they do. So I don't know if that'd be a cool thing to have to go through. In my opinion, I don't think I'd want me and Pearl being laid out naked and people spitting on us and throwing water
No, I
on
mean it's
us.
like one of my favorite versions, something like that, is in is it Man from Deep River?
Yeah.
There's that when I think it is Ivan Rasimov in that movie. Yeah, Ivan Rasimov is getting married to Mimi Lay, and like he basically has to blindfolded or whatever, or I think all the women are like in front of a wall or something.
Mhm.
He has to like, I know this is gonna sound funny, but he has to like reach through it and like feel their body and see if they're the right woman and guess if it's the right one. It's like, what is this? I remember thinking that while watching that
Yeah,
movie.
sign me up.
Yeah, sign me up, but still, it was like, what?
So silly. And Pearl will be like, sign me up. No, that just it shows you the cultural differences that we're not familiar with. And they definitely show it in here. I know the director was in the interview that we both listened to, Giappano Lomi mentioned that he loved Haiti. Like, he was there for, what was it, like 18 months for one movie and then 4 months for this movie.
Yeah, what was that Uncle Tom movie or whatever it
Yes.
was? Yeah,
Yeah.
something like
So
that.
he,
Yeah.
he loved that area, and that's why he wanted to film there. And he had friends there, so he enjoyed being there. He said now, as of when the interview was taking place, he said it's different. Things had changed. It wouldn't be, a lot of leaderships are evil and bad people and just all those things. But in '72, evidently it was like a cool place. There wasn't as much tourism. So to live there, he said, was actually enjoyable, and he loved shooting there. I'm sure it was super cheap. I'm sure it didn't cost a lot to film over there. I don't know what the rights would have had to have been, but the Anita Strindberg scene that we alluded to a little bit when she's drugged. There's a flower brought into her room, and then she goes on this hallucinogenic high. I like that scene. I like, once again, Alfio Nicolasi, who played Peacock. I liked his character, like I said, flamboyant. The first time we see him, he's at a pool and he's got this naked dude that jumps in the water, just free
Yeah.
balling, baby. Like, dude, he had no fear in his life, dude. So, hey, if I was hung like a mule, I'd jump in the water too and be free.
Yeah.
But I'm not.
One thing he also said in the interview that I found funny is there's a scene towards the end of the movie where someone is in a car and the car like explodes, and
Yeah.
he said there's a few frames where you can see that person's not in the car.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
That whole sequence, there's a scene where they start beating the car, first of all. And when they pan over, there's nobody in there, and then they pan, he's there. But the fire sequence, when they first light it up, there is absolutely nobody in that car,
Right.
100%. And then the next one, you see the guy and you see the flames, you're like, oh, okay, trickery, I got you. Cool scene, though, but whatever.
Yeah.
What did you think of the reveal of this one, though, when we found out And I still don't fully know the reveal at the end.
Yeah, I don't know
I'll
what
be
it is
honest, it's
either.
confusing. But what did you feel of that? There again, we don't really know what happened, but I mean, we watched it clearly,
Yeah, I
but it
don't
just really is not clear.
no, it's not, because it's not clear who's in the wrong and like
Mm-mm.
what is really going on with this drug stuff. Because it's like even the stuff between Gardner and Peacock doesn't really feel like that's resolved either. So
Yeah,
it's I don't know. I probably maybe I'll watch it again eventually, but I'm like I didn't really get exactly what was going on there. And
yeah,
it's like okay at the very end there's another thing like a possible romantic storyline with Grace and someone else that also
yeah.
feels unresolved. Like it's very I don't know. It doesn't. It feels very kind of odd at the end there. I don't
It
know what
does.
the writers were doing there.
I don't either. Like we have two directors. Okay, so you got Gianpaolo Lomi and you got Edoardo Malargi, and I do think Lomi directed most of this movie. I honestly do.
Yeah.
I don't know how much Malargi did, but I don't think it's much. So we know writing wise, Malargi and Anthony Stefan and Lomi were the writers of this one, it says. Um, it felt very heavy handed on cultural avenues, but light handed on Giallo. It's not what I would consider a true Giallo. It's not that, but you do have a mystery killer. But most of the time when you have a Giallo, you're looking for police procedurals, those type things. You don't have any of that necessarily going on. You don't have a lot of the black glove killer stuff, but you do have a mystery killer. But the cast itself, once again, I got to say, is actually pretty decent. The
Yeah.
Fred Wright
I agree with that.
character, I thought Gabriel Tinty done really good. It was mentioned, I think this was in the Rachel part of this, the interview with Rachel Nesbitt, where she does the essay. I believe it was mentioned that Stefan wanted that camera time, like he had it to where he had to have full face.
John
You know,
Powell talked about that too. Yeah.
yes, or maybe it's that him that was
Yeah.
talking about it. Like in the writing of it, and I guess that's why he is a co-writer in this. That he wrote to make sure that he had his screen time, as you mentioned.
Well, that's not the first time I've heard that about him as an actor that he's like that. I had because on the special features for the night Evelyn came out of the grave, Erica Blanc was talking about how before certain scenes or whatever, he'd always be holding a mirror up to himself and like working out how he wanted to look in the scene and stuff like that. So that's just the type of guy he was. He
Wow,
seemed like a very vain individual.
I will say he wasn't a bad looking man, but he is not a good, what I would call a good looking man. So I don't know. I don't get the
No, I
gist of
mean,
all
yeah,
that.
I've
But
seen I've seen
yeah,
better.
yeah.
Let's put it that way.
So I don't know why he's so well. I mean, good for him for being stuck on himself, right? It's like whatever. Hey, if you're gonna love yourself, love yourself. Um, but let's see what else you got on this one, man. And we'll start passing around. We'll do our because we got to know who did dubbing and stuff on this.
Dubbing, yes. So I do have Anthony Stefan as Dr. Williams was dubbed by Michael Forrest. Gabriele Tinti as Fred was dubbed by Robert Summer. I think Stelio Candelli as Gardner is dubbed by William Keel. I'm not as sure about that one, but the other two I'm about 100% sure on.
Okay. Music in this one. The composer on this one, Ian.
Piero Umiliani. Yep.
Yes. Who we know now, did he not? He's the one that was with Morricone.
Is he or is that I thought that was he may have been, but I mean, I looked at his credits. He's
Yeah.
worked on some stuff. He worked on the Muppets. He worked on Ocean's 12. So he's done some stuff. I just don't know. I thought that
That
the
might
one
have
with
been. I may have misspoke because I think it might have actually been the guy
Morricone.
from White
Yeah,
Dress for Mariale.
it may have been, but
Yeah.
Morricone had a guy. Why am I'm struggling with his name right now? Some of these names can sometimes be harder to remember
Yeah.
as I get a little older. Bruno Nicolai is who I'm thinking of,
Yeah.
but not him.
No,
Not him working on this movie anyway.
right. Yeah. Ferenzio Carpi is the composer on this one. Romano Scavolini is the cinematographer, so who I thought done a really
Oh,
tremendous.
did I click on the wrong one? Yeah, I did. Okay, never mind. Yeah, it's
Oh, I'm
nope,
actually
it's Piero Emiliani. Yep.
yes, yes. I was looking at the wrong one too. God, that's what happens when you put two different movies up
Yep.
at the same time. Let's get to the right cast and crew on here. All right, let's see. The cinematographer for this movie was Marcello. Oh, that's our buddy Masiucci. And the composer is Piero Umiliani. And I'm pretty sure it is this one, Ian, the Piero Umiliani, who I think he helped set up Morricone some as far as composing, like
Oh, okay.
he helped not compose necessarily, but he helped set up the composers. So he did have some work to do
I
with
was just looking at
Morricone.
the cinematographer too. Messi
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he did the cinematography for The Big Racket, which is obviously a very well shot film.
Nice. So good stuff here for sure. But cast good, story, reveal, confused. So that will reflect in my rating, unfortunately. But with that said, still not a disappointment of a watch. I've seen worse in these Vinegar Syndrome sets, and this one was actually one that I didn't. I will say I wasn't fully disliking on. Okay, I actually could watch this one actually again, and actually be okay with Ian. What else you got on this one?
Hall of Fame rankings. This is the second film with Gabriele Tinti after Endgame. So we've done two with him. Anita Strindberg. So that would make him an all-star. So Anita Strindberg is an all-time great. I already know that, but I gotta look. So Lizard in a Woman's Skin, Your Vice is a Locker Room, and Only I Have the Key, Who Saw Her Die, Case of the Scorpion's Tail, Puzzle, and this movie.
Okay.
Umberto Rajo, I'm pretty sure he's an all-time great as well, but I'm looking. Bird of the Crystal Plumage, Cat o' Nine Tails, Night Evelyn Came Out of the Grave, Crimes of the Black Cat, Oasis of Fear, Tropic of Cancer. I'm trying to see if there are others. No. So that would be it for him so far, but that does make him an all-time great as well.
Okay.
Um,
Cool. All right.
Stelio Candelli was also in Demons, so that makes him an
Oh hell yeah.
all-star. Yep.
Hell yeah. He had to be like a bit part though. I don't.
Must have. He
Yeah.
played Garner. Oh, yeah, and he was in Planet of the Vampires. So there we
Oh
go.
sweet.
Superstar.
Sweet. Superstar.
So um
What?
trying to see if I can find him in the Demons cast real quick.
Yeah, he had, like I said, it doesn't sound like a main cast member. I'm because there was a lot of cast in the Demons.
I
Uh,
am not seeing him on here, but
yeah,
hmm.
he was probably one of those stand-ins or something. Cool.
Oh no, he was Frank, apparently, is one of the characters he plays. I don't remember that. I don't
Yeah.
remember that one. I
Wow.
don't know if he was the older blind guy or I don't know who he was, but yeah, for
Cool.
sure.
All right. Well, where you come in on your rating for this one, Ian?
Six.
Okay. Six. I'm actually a seven on this one. I'm a little high on this one, but I'm gonna give it a seven on first viewing. Could go up or down. Like I said, I skimmed through it right before we watched it again, so I've watched it 1.25 times. But I could definitely see myself rewatching this one down the road. I don't think it would be something I'll get to right away, but I definitely could see myself rewatching this one. So Tropic of Cancer. Now it's time for our last feature review tonight, and we're going to be looking at that White Dress for Mariale or Mariale or Mariale, however you want to say her name,
Mm.
Mariale. Mariale sounds right. We'll go with that. White Dress for Mariale. So let's head over to you, Ian. What you got for the synopsis on this one?
As a child, Mariale witnesses the murder of her mother by her jealous father, who then turns a gun on himself and commits suicide. This event traumatizes Mariale, who grows into a neurotic adult trapped in a unfulfilled marriage to Paolo. Paolo, yep. When
Mm.
they invite some friends to their villa for a get together, things take a disturbing turn, and eventually a killer begins to dispose of them one by one.
Bum, bum, bum. This one now, I will say, has some really cool kills. I'll do that right away. I think the kills in this one are really good. The cast is really strong, Ian. Like this has a lot of
Yeah, a lot of
our
yeah,
hitters in it.
a lot of all-time greats in this one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, bro, it's like one after another. As soon as they pop up on screen, like, yes, yes, yes.
And I kind of like the roles that Rasimov and Pistilli played in this. They were different from what they normally do, I think. I mean,
100%.
Pistilli was kind of playing a typical character for him, but not, he wasn't as mean in this as we've seen him in the past before as well. I mean, he's played good characters too, but when he plays a villain, he tends to play a pretty mean villain, whereas here he wasn't really like that, quite that level.
Right. No, 100%, man. So when you're watching this movie, I think the opening sequence, we have this opening where this couple is out in the wood or out in a field or whatever, and they're making out. Another one where we got male nudity to begin with and not female nudity.
Yeah.
So very interesting. But we've got this individual male laid out and they're on like a blanket and they're making out. And then we have someone shows up, kills the lady, shoots her twice, shoots the guy and does this what is that, a 380 twist?
Yeah. that was insane in the slow motion.
The slow motion sequence of him being buck naked and he kind of gets shot and he does this little 280 to whatever,
fucking, yeah,
hides his pee while he's doing a flip, which I thought was funny. And then we see that the killer turns on himself. And then we flash forward to the current time. But I've got to tell you, man, just that flip is amazing. It was freaking. Yeah. I was like, I've never seen that. I've never looked like he was doing something off the high dive board, and he kind of whatever. But that was interesting. I mean, it was whatever. But then again, like I said, then we get into the guts of this movie. So cast, once again, we got a larger cast in this one. There's a lot of people in this one, and a lot of them, like we mentioned, are heavy hitters for us. Pistilli being one of them, of course, and we love Ida Gialli, who she plays, Mariella. Great choice for the lead actress, man. I really like her. I like her presence. She's a tremendous actress, in my opinion, and she just really plays off. But Ivan Razumov is just, to me, is just that grail of an actor. When I see him, I get so super excited.
The same thing is the best he's ever looked in a movie too. Like
True.
His hair the way it is and wearing that like powder blue suit, like he looked good.
Yeah, he did. So for me, watching this movie, I was instantly encouraged by the cast. We see that this Luigi Pistelli's character, Paolo, who basically has Mariella in this villa. And at first, I'm confused a little bit. I'm like, is this the same woman? But we find out it's the daughter of the woman who was shot. And she watched this murder. So
yeah, a bit of Mia Goth like casting there.
Yeah, 100%. And Paolo is kind of, it's a little shady at the beginning. Is he a bad guy? Is he not a bad guy? There's a sequence where, the butler is coming in and butler's putting something in a drink to hand to her. And she's like, yeah, I don't want this one. Give it to the master over here. I'll drink this one. And she says in that sequence, I know you've been trying to poison me, basically. There's no joke about this. But at the same time, he's looking out the window and there's some people showing up at this villa at the gate. So that's when we're introduced to all these different characters. We got a large group of people show up because she has sent a telegram out, Ian, bringing people because she is feeling like she's trapped, like she is a prisoner in this home, and she brings all these people in. And one of them, Ivan Razumov, played by Massimo, is maybe a former lover or a known person of hers. So we got that sequence going on. What did you think of that? Like when these people started showing up, man, was that not cool? I liked it.
Yeah, it definitely had like an Agatha Christie type of setup to it, I would say.
100%.
Secluded location and just someone bringing people together.
Yeah. I loved it. I loved that we were in this mansion type house, villa, whatever you want to call it. We get to see lots of it because of some murders taking place. And there is 12 murders that takes place in this movie. So there is some definite murder. There's this weird ass freaking orgy dinner
Yeah.
sequence that is just bonkers. They end up that Mariella wants to play dress up, so she
Right.
basically invites them all in to pick out costumes. She, for whatever reason, picks her mama's dress with the bullet holes in it. You know, I'm gonna do this dress. But there's such a weird sequence. One of them plays like a little peacock-looking character, or not peacock, but a little bird-like character, and you got the jester and all these different ones. It's bonkers, dude. It's bonkers. The one guy says, "Eat of my body," and he breaks this little chicken thing. I mean, I didn't know what I was watching, Ian. I really, honestly didn't know what I was watching. I was like, dude, this is crazy. Like, there's a lot of hallucinogenic drugs got to be took right here in this sequence, but I enjoyed it for what it was, Ian. It was fun to watch that whole sequence at the dinner. They start playing out these different characters, and yeah, there's some weird things that take place for
Yeah, I
sure.
mean, the killing doesn't start until basically an hour in
Yeah.
almost. I mean, there's a lot of stuff before that. There's the whole thing where they go into the like, gothic basement, they're all carrying the candles and everything, and then the storm starts and they all get like basically scared or whatever, or overwhelmed by what they're seeing.
Mhm.
I thought like I actually thought normally I wouldn't necessarily enjoy all these diversions, but I kind of liked it in this movie for whatever reason, all this weird stuff happening before we get to the brunt of all the killing and the mystery. I actually kind of enjoyed that aspect to it because it just felt a little different, but it didn't feel different in a way that was boring. It kind of kept me engaged.
Yeah, 100%. I did like the story in this one for sure. There are, disclaimer up front, there are a couple of animal mutations in this one as
Yeah.
well as far as murder. So if that is a trigger, I want to put it out again. You know, be forewarned if you watch this movie. But the cast is great. The cast is really, really strong in this one. We got this one dance sequence taking place, Ian, that is, I love the music that's going on during the sequence. And the director had mentioned that he basically wanted Anagata Davida by Iron Butterfly, but of course they couldn't afford that or they didn't do that. But the music does sound a lot like it, but they didn't have to pay Iron Butterfly for it. So if you listen to it, it definitely sounds a lot like Anagata Davida. And it's psychedelic.
What's the movie where they used a Manhunter, right? Is the movie
Manhunter
with, yeah,
is what I've
yeah,
heard. I've not seen Manhunter, but that's what I've heard.
yeah.
But I love that sequence. You got this black lady dancing around. You know, she's very revealing. You know, things out. But I really enjoyed it. And then we have the fight sequence between her and her man. Her and her man's always fighting. And oh man, this thing's got a lot of stuff. Osvaldo the Butcher, which is uh, the butler played by Ginger Gotti. What a robotic, stiff, very zombie-like character
Yeah.
that was one.
I
I think
liked
it was
him
the
though.
brother. I loved him. I think he
Yeah.
was like the brother of one of the filmmakers, and they wanted him in the movie, so they kind of left him in the
That's
movie.
interesting. Well, I don't know if I've ever seen him in anything else, but he seemed pretty photogenic for film. Like in
Did he not
terms
look
of
like George Eastman in a way?
a little bit. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. At first, I thought, is that George? I mean, I know his face looks kind of ragged, a little bit more torn, but it kind of reminded me of George
Well,
Eastman.
George Eastman is in this movie. He would have either had to save everybody or kill everybody. So, yeah,
100%, 100%. Now, this movie was fun though. It had some, like I said, real strong acting. The kills are really good in this movie. We see some pretty decent ones. We got a dog kill
yeah.
that was awesome. I thought that was cool with a just a dog attack that was pretty interesting. What did you think of the reveal of the killer at this one?
I actually really enjoyed that aspect to it because I didn't really know it was going to go there, and when it does,
Mm-hmm.
I actually really like the explanation for it as well. And then sort of the final thing that happens there at the very end, the sort of showdown between a couple other characters, I
Yeah.
thought was interesting as well.
Yeah, 100%. Did you feel this one, as far as Giallo, this would be what I would consider a gothic Giallo, if you're going to call it that. I thought this one had a little more of the Giallo aspect than the Tropic of Cancer for me.
Yeah, it definitely did.
But the music's really strong in this one. I thought the music was handled really well. This one did not have the English dubbing in this one.
No, the I will say this though, the music was great. That theme with the piano and everything was great. It felt, yeah, I mean, it definitely felt very classic Giallo to have a theme like that and to have it really be memorable. Like I can still hear it in my head now pretty easily. So
100%. Yeah, 100%. The director mentioned in the special features, Ian, I know you listened to him as well, Romano Scavellini, how that this was, he called it the unforget or the forgetful movie or to should forget movie or whatever, but he did clarify what he was mentioning. It wasn't that the movie he felt was that bad of a movie. It just wasn't his movie, right? Like he was brought on after all this. It was kind of as a favor because he had done this other movie that was a success. So they brought him on because he was due a favor. And then he's like, looked at the script and like, no, I need to redo this script. Like his script's got to be redone. And he redid a lot of stuff, but he still, it's not, he just don't want it to be remembered as his movie because to him, it technically wasn't his movie. So, but I thought it was fun, man. The fucking cast is great. I can't
yeah,
keep saying it enough. The cast is awesome. As an Italian Giallo fan, you will absolutely love this cast. You will see numerous people that you will recognize, and seeing them in different type roles was so freaking cool. I did like, once again, the orgy scene. I thought was great. Now, when I say orgy, it's not everybody's naked having sex. This is a different type of orgy. But it was a really cool sequence, man. I thought that was awesome. And it was down in this dungeon looking area. So there's candles, there's all these things going on, the dinner table. So a lot of cool sequences there for sure. So what else you got on this one, Ian? What you want to talk about on this one?
So Scavellini, like you can tell he knows film because like in the bonus feature, he talked about how he used like the 2P system for the cameras, and he said he would like I'm going over what notes I took on what he said, but he said he would shoot like half the full frame of the 35 millimeter. Then he said you had to have good light for a small aperture like that. And then he said the 2P was transferred to an amorphized lens, like he basically, you could tell he knew film just from using all of those terms. In a way, I thought that was kind of interesting how he explained that, because film enthusiasts would understand that kind of stuff. I don't really know
Yeah,
it
I
as
don't.
well, but it was kind of interesting. Ida Gali, I listened to part of her interview where she talked about this movie. She had said her last name of her stage name, which is Evelyn Stewart, actually came from Jimmy Stewart. She apparently people told her she walked similar to him, so that's why she went with it. Uh, she said she liked her character in this movie, had good psychological aspects. She became good friends with Rado Rasimov because she would visit the set a lot. About Ivan Rasimov, she said that he really liked riding his Vespa, which is a moped from the recent type.
Like a little scooter, basically.
Yeah, and apparently, like he drove like a maniac, and she went to a restaurant with him, on it at one point. She said, she's like, I'll never do something like that again. It drives like a maniac. She said she enjoyed dying in movies because she said it requires a certain amount of pathos to be able to act in those scenes. She liked working with both Lindsay and Fulci as well.
Yeah, I think everybody did, honestly. Even as grumpy as they said Fulci was, I think most people did.
Yes, Giovanni Lombardo DJ is one exception in terms of working with Lindsay.
True,
Yeah.
true. Let's see. So we have. I thought the plot of this movie was interesting, and it makes sense in this movie. Like the story is it's got a beginning, a middle, and an ending. It's not all over the place. You kind of know where to follow this one. Is she having some mental breakdowns? There was even a time that maybe is all this in her head. I even thought that at one time. I thought maybe that these people are not even there, that a lot of this is in her head. Maybe. So there was all these elements, but it works for what this movie wants you to get from point A to point Z. I think everything worked right. So as far as continuity and stuff, I really enjoyed this one for that. And you do get some slaps in the face, which I thought you get the judo chop to the back.
That was I remember that part. Yeah.
You get the slap to the face. There's this one sequence where there's a back and forth slap. female slap, male slap, female slap. I'm like, God, dang, I like this. Some cool stuff though. But overall, that whole orgy sequence is what I'm calling it, was the best part of this movie. It just really solidified what was going on in this movie and where everybody was going. And then we have all these little side trails that goes down. So I thought that was cool. Music we mentioned is strong in this one. Really, really out of both movies, this is definitely the banger. Just really great, great, great movie as far as the music. And this, I will say the cinematography is phenomenal in this one. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because of Scavellini for sure helping that. But I don't understand the whole shutter and the different, he was talking about how fast a shutter or whatever. I don't understand all that. I wish I did. I know some of you filmmakers are watching this would have 100% understood everything that he said and would have probably agreed. I don't know that whole process, and I wish I did.
Yeah, like I've never really seen in any of these interviews I've seen on these special features, I've never really seen a director talk like that before.
Yeah.
And I found it interesting because I'm like, okay, if I understood this stuff, that would actually be really interesting information. I just happen to not really get that kind of lingo. But if you do, that's, I'd say that's pretty cool information in terms of really breaking down exactly what he did to shoot this.
Well, you can tell too in the interview, he has these different cameras around him too. So you can tell that's really, he's immersed in that world.
Yeah.
Which I love. I'm glad. And like I said, if you're a filmmaker, I think you would definitely enjoy this interview just to hear that talk, which that was a 20-minute interview. That's called Forget This Movie.
And like we were talking before, he looked good for his age. Like he's probably around 80 when this was shot, and he looked like 60 to 65 pretty easily.
Yeah, 100%. The essay was good by Rachel Nisbet in this one. That's a 17-minute interview. I did not watch the deleted scenes, and there's also, you mentioned the interview with Ida, which was 55 minutes. I did not get to that one as well, but
yeah, definitely a big career spanning interview because she talks about her origins there, like her childhood, and then how she got into acting. Like I didn't watch much of it, but I was like skimming through it, and I'm like, okay, she's definitely talking about this. Then she would talk about the Peplum films and some of the early spaghetti westerns before she got to this, and some of the stuff beyond that. So she's open to doing interviews. Like I've seen her do interviews for other stuff too. I think she did one for the Syndicate Sadists Blu-ray as well.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. And this one had that one extra feature that Tropic of Cancer didn't have. We don't have a commentary on these releases here, at least the two that we're talking about tonight. But you do have Rachel Nisbet talking about the movies almost like a commentary style, just done at the end of the movie. So you do get that. Tropic of Cancer, once again, has an English and an Italian dub. This one right here is straight Italian. There is no English dub available for it as far as this release, which I'm fine with. I'm okay, with certain movies. I'm okay with it. Sometimes I prefer just hearing it in Italian. Anything else you want to talk about on this one, Ian?
Let me get to some of the rankings here. Ida Gali, probably an all-time great, at least by now. I got to look to see. So we got Psychic, Whip in the Body, Footprints on the Moon, Case of the Scorpion's Tail, Hercules in the Haunted World, Bloodstained Butterfly, Arabella Black Angel, Knife of Ice, and this movie. So that definitely makes her an all-time great. And we're not even done with her yet. There's going to be more. Ivan Rasimov, All the Colors of the Dark, Your Vice is a Locked Room, Only I Have the Key, Planet of the Vampires, Strange Vice of Mrs. Ward, Spasmo, Rome Armed to the Teeth, Colt 38 Special Squad. I think that might be it. Yeah, that is it for now. But that's a pretty good sample size. And again, the guy we're not even done with yet. There's gonna be more Ivan Rasimov at some point.
Oh yeah.
Luigi Pastilli, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly for a few dollars more. Bay of Blood, Your Vice is a Locked Room, Only I Have the Key. Caliber 9, Milan Caliber 9. Case of the Scorpion's Tail, Guana with the Tongue of Fire. I think that might be it. Yes. Let me look at a couple others here too. I was going to look at nothing for Pilar Velasquez. And Ezio Morano, I know we've seen him before. He played Sebastiano, Lizard in a Woman's Skin, Black Belly of the Tarantula, and that's it. So that makes him a superstar so far. The Gengar Gaddy actually is in some other films. He might be in one we'll cover eventually. The guy who plays Osvaldo.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Adelio Kim. Nope, nothing. Carla Mancini, who apparently is in this for like a scene. I can't remember who she plays. Woman reading a book is her credit. I think she might be at like the very beginning. I do remember seeing her, I think. But
Right.
Bird with the Crystal Plumage, Your Vice is a Locker on Only I Have the Key, What Have You Done to Solange, Perfume of the Lady in Black, Case of the Bloody Iris, Black Belly of the Tarantula, Autopsy, Seven Bloodstained Orchids, Death Smiles on a Murderer, Slaughter Hotel, High Crime, Curl in Room 2A. Wow, Oasis of Fear. So, Killer Must Kill Again. We did that movie, right? Yeah, we did.
Yes.
So there, yeah. So, yeah, Cry of a Prostitute. She's in a lot of stuff, and it seems like smaller roles, but yeah. Cool. Sean Robinson. No, this is the only film she was in. The woman who plays Semi, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's surprising. I thought she'd have been in a little more.
Cool. Giancarlo Boniglia, who played Joe, who was kind of a bastard in this movie. Colt 38 Special Squad. So we saw him in that.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, let's see here, Ian. You ready for ratings?
Yep.
All right. Well, let's do it. I will come in first, and I gave this one an 8.5 first viewing, so I'm coming in with 8.5. What do you got on this movie?
8.
All right. So an 8 for Ian. So 7 and 6 for Tropic of Cancer, 8 and 8.5 for White Dress for Mariale. But we do have a voicemail to get to here, Ian, so we'll go to that. And let's see, we are at, let me find it. Okay, here we go. So we'll go to this voicemail from Ian's dad. I always love hearing from Luke, and I hope he continues to do this every episode. It's really fun to hear from him. So let's go to his voicemail and see what we got for us.
Hey guys, Luke Irza calling in with some thoughts on Tropic of Cancer. I like the movie. A lot of what I liked about it were the scenes, especially like the ones where they would show like the swimming pools or the general area, like the marketplaces. When the movie characters are going through like the local markets and some of the streets and things. I mean, I enjoyed that local scenery and from the 70s too. I thought that was pretty cool. In a small way, like a couple James Bond movies were made like in the tropics and things, South America, Central America. Certainly this is not a James Bond movie, but some of that type of view of the local areas I thought were a little bit similar to some Bond movies and things. I could have done without a lot of the hallucinating scenes or maybe the length of the scene. I think there's a way to get the point across that this doctor has this kind of like new in demand drug, high demand drug. I think there's a way to portray that hallucinogenic kind of thing without it being so strange. But then again, it was 70s, and a lot of things happened in the 70s, from what I understand, that were a little bit weird, certainly drug induced. The slaughterhouse scene was pretty neat, although obviously very bloody. And then here's the thing, man. There was that scene where that one guy gets sprayed in the face with the fire extinguisher, I think, and he's all burned up and his hands are burned up. And then he gets thrown in that hole. And then the villain of the movie is like hitting his hands with that pipe to keep him down there. Man, I thought that was such a good scene. I felt the pain in the guy's hands.
Yeah.
Like that
100%.
must have really hurt if it was really happening.
100%.
It's just a movie, but I felt it almost like in my own my own hands. So anyway, I thought that was a really well done scene. Guys, have a great show. I'll talk with you guys soon. Bye.
He's not lying. That scene where Yeah, it's hard to watch, man, because he has already been burned to beyond recognition almost, right? And then he's trying to climb out of this vat like thing with his hands, and the guy's taking a pipe, popping his fingers, and he's like, yeah. I was like, dude, that just kept going on and on. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
Stop. I'm like, bro, I can't watch this anymore. But yeah, that is our reviews tonight. So we looked at, once again, Tropic of Cancer and White Dress for Mariale. Our next episode, Ian, we're going to be doing the last of this series. Now, these Forgotten Giallis have 3 films, so we're going to be looking at, boom, 9 Guests for a Crime. Ain't that a sexy-looking little cover? 9 Guests for a Crime, as well as Blind Man. So there is Blind Man, and we're looking at another spaghetti western. I have never seen that one. That looks really cool. And it's got Ringo Starr.
Yep.
And Ringo Starr. And is that, who released that? Is that
I don't know who released the DVD. Abco?
Abco? Okay.
Yep.
So I will look and see on Blind Man, what year is that? 1971?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so Blind Man 1971. Yeah, I see the DVD there on Amazon. We'll look at what we do. If not, it is available to stream. So you can check it out that way. But once again,
you can find a good print on Daily Motion. That would be where I'd recommend to find it.
So check that out if you want to follow along with us, and we'll finish up this series of the Forgotten Gialli Volume 5 next episode. So that will be finished, and we still have 6, 7, and 8 to get to in the future, but who knows where we'll go after this one.
Well, we'll see what happens with 8, because I don't know if I'll ever be able to get my hands on that, because that was such a limited release.
I don't understand that. Hopefully they'll re-release it and come back out with some, so Ian can get a hold of that. I will mention that March is coming up. Ian and I and my wife Pearl, we're going to get together. He's going to be coming into town, and we're going to drive up to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, Ian, in March. Super excited, man. We're going to meet up, and then we'll go up there to that convention. And I know the main reason we're going, Ian, and I cannot pronounce her name, Ia, I'm going to say from Audition, Takesha Miike's Audition. She is the main reason Ian and I were like, dude, we got to go to this convention. She's going to be
Shiina, who played
Aina. There you go.
Yeah, Asami Yamazaki in Audition. Yeah.
God, I cannot wait.
And she was in Tokyo Gore Police, but
she's going to do a photo op in her outfit from Audition.
So yeah, I assume it's the apron and stuff like that. Yeah.
I can't wait. So Ian and I have already purchased our tickets for that. Pearl's going to be right there with us. I cannot wait. So we're super excited. I did see that the Trauma, Lloyd Kaufman and several of the Trauma people are going to be there. So it's going to be a trippy time. And possibly we might be able to hook up with JP and Carly from 22 Shots of Moose. That might be pretty cool too. I can't wait for that. So,
well, when you told me that, it made sense, because I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. They're right in that area. I completely forgot. So
yeah, I think they're toward the Pittsburgh area, but yeah, definitely not too far off. So as soon as I found out about it, I was like, wow. So stay tuned for that. I know we'll have some stories to tell and some different things going on. Pearl and I are looking so forward to it, right, love? Yep. It's going to be awesome. So that said, let's go ahead and wrap this one up. Once again, this has been episode 469 of LOTC. And I believe we're going to have Mortis Vision with the Mortises next. Pearl's giving me that look, possibly. So you won't see it here, but you'll hear it on the podcast. So if you're on your podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, wherever you're at, check out Land of the Creeps and get up with that. But if not, you will hear this and then we'll end. But anyway, so with that said, Ian, what you got in closing here, my friend?
So you can find me on Twitter and or Twitter X, Facebook. Twitter, Blue Sky, and Instagram at Ursonomics. You can add me on Facebook or Letterboxd by just typing in my name.
Okay, cool. I want to mention for myself that I was recently on an episode of MRAC Podcast, which is Anthony Ragucci, Anthony R. over on Facebook World. It's his podcast. So I was recently on there. That has came out. So check out the MRAC, M-R-A-C podcast. We were looking at Brian De Palma, and the 2 movies specifically we covered was Blowout from Brian De Palma And our sub categorized film that we looked at was Snake Eyes from Brian De Palma. So we did review those two films. I would love for you to go check that out, as well as 22 Shots of Moods, the Sin Vin podcast, where they do, it's a season 3, I think, season 2 or season 3 of the Vin Sin, where they basically look at Vinegar Syndrome's releases. And I was on that current one, and we looked at Terra Firma was the main review, but there's other, The Great Silence was reviewed, some other movies were reviewed. So I would love for you to go check that out. That's available here on YouTube in video form as well as audio podcast forms with 22 Shots of Moods.
Did you watch The Great Silence?
I did not get a chance to watch Great Silence. Okay. I own it because you gave me a copy.
Right.
And I did not, for whatever reason, I kind of brain farted, didn't realize that was one that we had to watch for the show, but we did. I brain farted. I missed out on that opportunity, but I know we'll get to that here sometime.
Yeah. We'll do a Corbucci month at some point. I've wanted to do one for a little while, so we'll get to that at some point. I had something else to add too, so that's why I got tangled up when I was doing all my socials, was I was thinking about something. So I'll be on the Subjective Perspective Collective again on March 8th with Darren and Dirk. We're doing a show on Luke Mirenda. So
nice.
Spotlight on Luke Mirenda. Yep.
Okay, cool. Can't wait to listen to that. Check out the podcast. So with that said, we're going to get out of here. I'll do it right here, but if you listen to the podcast, you may hear a different ending. But with that said, I'll say it here. We'd love for you to subscribe to this channel over here on YouTube. Subscribe to us. Give us that thumbs up. Hope you enjoyed it. Share it with all of us. We want to see more views, so please share this episode each time. And with that said, we're going to get out here. As we always like to say, Ian,
get your Gialli on.
And help keep horror alive. We do that. We'll move it at a time, one review at a time. Till next time, peace.